Let's do it. Hey man, if you don't know by now, man, this big Oscar the Hebrew heavyweight, man. Let's do it, man. Shout out to Howard, that's my guy, you know he paved the way. I'ma get it kicking like I'm Rock Lee in the anime. Verses hitting harder than this 808. Prophets in the trenches, bring the truth, you know they love to hate. Numbers going up, now they asking, hey, what it takes, grinding through the struggle, follow Christ, now I elevate, spirit in my verses, every line, you know I demonstrate, kingdom on my mind, ain't got time, cannot hesitate. I'ma choose the Bible over you. I'ma wear my tassels all the way down to my shoes. Yeah, I'm with the gang. Outside with the bruise. He may be Superman, but baby, I'm a super brew. This is what I'ma choose the Bible over you. I'ma wear my tassels all the way down to my shoes. Yeah, I'm with the gang. Outside with the bruise. He may be Superman, but baby, I'm a super brew. This is what I do. Second Exodus, you ain't know. This would be a secret. Trying to wake them up. Ready mind. I'm trying to leave my people outside on the corner. Yelling out, screaming, we not equal. Here's we're going viral. Now they look, because they know we leak. In the kingdom, drip down, covered in Cuban links. Diamonds hit a little different. Ice dance when I blink. Let's do it. Passover going crazy. Kingdom really getting lit. Big bruise and designer. Real ballers in the pit. I'ma choose the Bible over you. I'ma wear my tassels all the way down to my shoes. Yeah, I'm with the gang. Outside with the bruise. He may be Superman, but baby, I'm a super brew. This is what I'ma choose the Bible over you. I'ma wear my tassels all the way down to my shoes. Yeah, I'm with the gang. Outside with the bruise. He may be Superman, but baby, I'm a super brew. This is what I do.
Con. See, I need you all to see this. Let me go back. Right. This is for everybody who's asking for that song off the last live by Super Brew. That's from Osgadar, man, out of Houston, from Jeshurun. And without any further ado, I'm gonna say call Allah Yahweh Ba Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai, man. You know, as y'all can see with the title, the Western power turning against Trump and America, man. Like this, look, I don't know about y'all, but when I'm at work, when I'm at home, while I'm playing the game, I am keeping track of with this war that they got going on in Iran. And if you are believing Israelite, you should too. I don't know why you're not. If you're not, like, I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know why you're not keeping track of with this, because this is a crazy thing that's going on. And me listening to the news, I mean, just getting off of work, right? Speaking of, man, it wouldn't be a Masada live stream if there wasn't a random technical error before the stream starts. Like, I was supposed to start at 3:15. My computer, StreamYard, everything want to start acting up. That's why we starting at 3:30. It wouldn't be a Masada live stream without it, man. And but yeah, back to my point. If you're not paying attention to this war, I don't know what you got going on. Like, you need to be paying attention to this war, reading Revelation, reading the major minor prophets, and correlating it up with the Bible, because when all this stuff starts jumping off, all your family members who are Christians, who are off into every theology, they're not going to have answers, right? And they're not going to be able to exegete what's going on right here or have any idea what's going on. And these scriptures, you see Paul talk about in Romans 15, these scriptures are written for our learning and our understanding, and through them we'll have patience and faith, right? And the reason why we have patience and faith and stability, like Isaiah says, the wisdom and knowledge will be a stability of our times. What keeps us stable is understanding the plan and flow of the Lord, understanding what's going on. And when you see things like what we're going to talk about today about the Western powers, we're going to watch a few videos too, 3 videos actually, about the Western powers turning against Trump in America. That's part of prophecy, and that's something we need to understand and know, right? But yeah, like I said earlier, we're gonna jump into this. Like I said earlier, this is Super Brews Freestyle Osgadar. You can just type that in on YouTube and you'll find it. For everybody asking about it, right? Let's see. Let me go into this real fast. I want to start off with this verse, with this passage, really, right? So 2 Peter 3:10, right? It says, "But the day of the Lord," and I'm in the NASB, right? I've been reading these word for word translations, and I've actually enjoyed these more than the KJV. If anybody hasn't noticed, I've been just reading these. I've enjoyed this more than the KJV because it's just better, bro. It's just better. But let's read this. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and its works will be discovered. Since all these things are to be destroyed in this way," then the heavens right here is going into like the rulerships. We see so many times in the Bible, heavens meaning rulerships. So like the leaders, the world powers are going to be destroyed by fire. So it says, since all these things are to be destroyed in this way, what sort of people ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness? Because that's what I want to emphasize in this. Yeah, we're going to talk about prophecy. People always like, you guys talk about prophecy, but you don't be building nobody up. I do that, right? That's why I want to start with this. We need to be worrying about our character in all times. Is a word I talked about matter of fact, when we first made the Masada its own camp, like when we separated from our last camp, I emphasize integrity, right? And that's something that we have to work on as a people. When nobody's looking and the only person who can see what you're doing is the Lord, that's something that we need to make a pressing thing about ourselves. Because seeing that everything's going to be destroyed, seeing how only the righteous are going to be delivered out of this place, we need to put ourselves in a position to be that righteous, to be saved. So we need to pay attention to our holy conduct and godliness, no matter what time of day it is. That's what you call integrity. What are you doing when nobody's watching? It says, looking for and hasting the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be destroyed by burning, and the elements will melt with intense heat. But according to his promise, we're looking for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. That's talking about our kingdom, like the new heavens, new rulership, and the earth being remade again. That's what we are looking for. And looking for that, you have to be paying attention to prophecy. We can't just be Hebrews. Oh, I'm just going to just keep the commandments and just not know what's going on. No, we have to be looking for this kingdom. How do you look for this kingdom? Paying attention to prophecy, right? So let's look at some prophecy. I want to talk about this because we're going to talk about the deliverance of Jacob or Israel, like the Black, Spanish, Native Americans over here in this side of the hemisphere. What comes from that salvation, what was a precursor to that salvation, is Babylon being destroyed. When you look at this, Ariel, I'm gonna get that actually, and also Shalom too. I'm gonna get that in a second. But the precursor to our salvation is the destruction of Babylon the Great. Let's read some prophecy about that. So Revelation 18:1, this is, and after this I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become the dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of her passion, of her sexual immorality. That's her ideologies and her philosophies. That's America. That's America's philosophies. And if you want to disagree, when we get to the previous chapter, it's going to make it even clearer. But this is going into America's philosophies, which is walking throughout the world. It says, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich with the power of her luxurious living. Right? That's because we live in. If you look at America, we live in affluence. Even the lowest people in America live better than a lot of these third world countries. Right? That's the affluence and the ability and opportunity that Americans have. Right? This is that Babylon. This is that place specifically. It says, then I heard with another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. This is Israel, the righteous of Israel being delivered prior to destruction of Babylon. How do we know this? Because it says the plagues, that you be not partakers of her plagues, but the plagues of the fire. Right? It says, then I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, lest you take part in her sins, lest you share in her plagues. For her sins have heaped high as heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Pay her back as she herself has paid back others, and repay her double for her deeds. Mix a double portion for her in the cup she's mixed, as she glorified herself, lived in luxury. That's going back into that affluence. It says, so give her a measure, a like measure of torment and mourning, since since in her heart she says, I sit as a queen, I am no widow, and mourning I shall never see. And that's how these Americans think. That type of ideology has permeated the Black, Spanish, and Native Americans, the Israelites now. Like, because I'm gonna break this down, I'm gonna make this point, right? So this is going into, like, they'll never see destruction. They'll never know what it's like to not, like, because when you see biblically, like, like what you gonna say, the biblical times, a woman without her husband is subject to so many various different torments, right? There's no hedge around. There's no strong man to bind the other strong man trying to take the house, right? They can be overtaken. That type of mentality and metaphor is translated into how this Babylon would act. That's how these Americans act over here in America. Oh, we're going to win this war. We don't have to even think about this. What's going on over there? It's never going to happen here. I have nothing to worry about. I'm just going to worry about myself. That type of thinking comes from, the Europeans, but it also has permeated these Black, Spanish, and Native Americans. And I've seen that just going to work and talking to people about it. About when I talk to these people, when I say these people, when I talk to my people, right? When I talk to my people about the wars, they just think it's just a passing thing, that this doesn't matter, or America is just gonna prevail. But looking at this and looking at the videos we're about to see, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think this is World War III. But even then, even if you don't think that, they have no idea what's going on. When I give them updates about the war, there's just something that you will see literally everywhere, whether it be mainstream media or whether it be alternative media like what I watch. It's everywhere. They still don't know about it. If it's not being on Facebook or Twitter or being shared by World Star, because they're trying to get back into popularity again, so they're sharing news articles. But if they don't see it there, they don't know about it. And the reason why that is because they have that mindset of America is just going to last forever. And it's not, right? It's been prophesied to be destroyed here, various different places, all throughout the Bible, right? But it says in verse 8, let me finish that point though, actually. So going back into this where it's, I sit a queen, I am no widow, and mourning I shall never see. That's going into this jingoistic mindset of Americans over here. That's also in all of us, not all of us, but Israel is a people as well. And it says, for this reason, her plagues will come in a single day, death and mourning and famine, and she will be burned up with fire. For mighty is the Lord God who has judged her. Right. So fire is going to hit this place. Mourning is going to hit this place. Famine is going to hit this place, which is coincidentally enough, we can see all these things in this world war. Right. We talk about the Strait of Hormuz being closed down. Like, everybody's been talking about that to a degree. People are making a point about the oil. That's a choke point for fertilizer too. If farmers can have fertilizer, it's going to be hard for them to produce crops. It's going to be hard for them to pay for crops because they're raising the prices. They might not buy it, or they'll just buy a little bit, which means there's going to be a low yield of crops, things that we can eat, right? And the prices, if there's going to be a low crop yield, what are they going to do? Increase the prices, which does what? Famine. That can happen because of this. The fire, we already know, because the nukes. That's already a thing. But this is correlating to what we read earlier about in 2 Peter chapter 3 and 10 through 13, right? Everything's gonna be dissolved in fire. This is gonna be a nuclear war. That's what's gonna happen. That's what we see biblically. So if we see this, what type of conduct we need? What type of conduct do we need to be in? Right. First and foremost, we need to get ourselves right as far as the commandments. If you're not keeping the commandments, that's a problem, right? You're already failing level 0. Like, when you play a video game, you have the tutorial, you're not getting past the tutorial. You're not going to beat the game, right? And Christ talks about us being delivered, like enduring to the end, and keeping his works in Revelation chapter 2. He calls that overcoming, like getting the victory, right? If you're still on the tutorial round, you haven't got the victory over the game. You're not winning the game. That's a problem. That's level 0. You need to get past the tutorial. The second part is we need to be paying attention to prophecy. We need to be paying attention to prophecy, right? And I'm gonna hit this, and then we're gonna go back to Revelation again. So, like Ariella brought up earlier, and I think he brought up another verse. I want to read that. Psalms 49:11. This is their inward thought is their house shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Yeah, that's that. And what's crazy is that's damn near. We know Esau does that, but Israel's on that same mindset. Like this is going to just last forever. We don't have to worry about any type of famine or anything. We live in America. It's so great. That's what these silly blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans is on, right? But they're not doing this, which is crazy. It's going to lead me back into the second Esdras. Second Esdras 9:1. It says, "He answered me, measure carefully within yourselves, and when you see that a certain part of the signs which were predicted, the prophecy predicted, have passed, then you will understand that the time has come in which the Most High will begin to visit the world that He made." So we look at the prophecy to measure the amount of time it's going to take, the measure of time between us and the deliverance from the deliverance of our God, right? So we have to pay attention to prophecy. We have to know what's going on. Revelation 19:10, the testimony of Christ is, or testimony of Jesus or Yahweh is the spirit of prophecy. So we have to be vibing along with that spirit and understanding the plan. The Lord laid the plan out for us. All we got to do is read it, right? If we don't understand it, we have to get teachers, right? Even me, I ask questions of people who are wiser than me. We need teachers. You see in the book of Acts, I forgot if it's chapter 18 or chapter 8, where a man, Philip pulled up to a man, Ethiopian eunuch, who was coming to Jerusalem to pray, right? For one of the feasts, and he was reading Isaiah the 53rd chapter, which is coincidentally enough a chapter about Yahweh. So then he began to teach about Yahweh. But what he said when Philip walked up to him, and Philip asked him, "Do you understand what you're reading?" He said, "How can I understand unless the man show me, or unless the man teach me?" Right? So we need teachers. If you don't understand something biblically, you need to ask questions about it, right? And I do the same thing. I'm forever a student. And that's what I learned in my last camp. We need to always be forever a student and always updating and retrying our doctrine to see if it's solid, right? Speaking of that, there's something I want to go into later once I look into it a little bit more about Isaiah 13. Because I believe, and I'm just going to just say this, and I'm going to go into it when I go into it, but not today, right? I think Iran's going to play a bigger part in the destruction of Babylon than we might have thought. Right. But when I go back over that, then I'll bring that out. But let's go back into this Revelation. So when we go to Revelation 17. So Revelation 17, it says, then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters." So we read about that judgment in the next chapter in Revelation 18, about how it's going to be judged with fire and famine. So this is going to elaborate on how that judgment is going to play out. So it says, verse 2, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed sexual immorality, and with the wine of whose sexual immorality the dwellers of the earth have become drunk." The same thing he was saying in Revelation chapter 18. Right, go back into their philosophy and their humanities. Revelation 17:3, it says, "And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names, and it has 7 heads and 10 horns." Now, the 7 heads and 10 horns elaborates on who this woman is and the beast is, right? So we see in Daniel chapter 7, and we're going to come right back to this, the 7 heads and 10 horns. Specifically the 10 horns. And that's really what this is going into today, right? About the 10 horns. Now, Christians, for the most part, get this right about the 4 beasts you see in Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, you see let me see. I'm starting 2. It says Daniel declared, I saw a vision by night, and beheld the 4 winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up out of the sea, different from one another. Now, Christians get this correct about who these 4 beasts are. These are kingdoms. I think that the latter part of the chapter elaborates on it, and just looking at it, you can understand, because this is going right with Daniel 2 about the image, right? About the head and the arms and the legs and the feet and the toes. Like, all of that is synonymous to specific kings and rulerships of nations. So you got Babylon. Then, and I'm not about to break this whole thing down. I just want to just get to the point. Like, you got like Babylon right here in verse 4. Then you have the Medo-Persians who came up after Babylon. Then you have the Grecians. Then you have the Romans in Daniel chapter 7. Anybody can look this up. This is literally common knowledge. This doesn't become to get bugged out for Christians until verse 8 with the little horn, which is Babylon, which is America, right? Not the damn Vatican. But in verse 7, we're talking about Rome. It says, after this, I saw in the night visions and beheld a 4th beast, terrifying and dreadful and exceedingly strong. It had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces and stamped what was left under its feet. Talking about its type of dominion that it had and power that it had. It said it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. These are the same 10 horns that we see in Revelation 17 and Revelation 13. And those 7 heads or 7 dimensions, 7 that's right. 7 heads are the 7 subdividers of Rome. All these are going into Roman kings specifically, and Roman kingdoms, which we know today is the Western powers, which started with like the Treaty of Rome, going on to NATO EU, right? That's what that is. And that's important to know, because what we're about to watch is going to elaborate on what we're about to read in Revelation, the 17th chapter. So let's go back into this. So where was we at? Right. It said it has, I'm going to read 3 again, and we're going to keep it pushing. It says, and he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. This is Rome, right? The Western powers, scarlet beast, that was full of blasphemous names, and it had 7 heads and 10 horns, the 7 subdivisions, the 10 nations where you get like the 10 major nations where you get like with the Treaty of Rome, EU, and NATO, right? That's the Western powers. It says the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and jewels and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of sexual immorality. And on her forehead was written a name of mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. So the woman riding the beast right here is Babylon, right? Just like how America is leading NATO and EU, right? Whatever they're on, that's what time they're on. So going on with this, to elaborate on how we know this is what it is, instead of just, oh, that's just Yachty, that's just a black dude on the internet just saying words. Let's see what these things are, and let's see if Yachty is correct. So jumping down to verse 12, it says, and the 10 horns that thou saw were 10 kings, right? It says 10 kings who have not yet received royal power, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast, right? And this going into our time specifically. It says these are of one mind, and they hand over their power and authority to the beast. They will make war on the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, Armageddon. For he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with him are called and chosen and faithful. And the angel said to me, the waters that thou saw, because you know the whore is sitting on the waters, is going to elaborate on what these waters are. Because I was contending that this Babylon and this great whore, this great prostitute, is specifically a world superpower, which is America, the world superpower. So let's see if Yachty is correct, right? And the angel said to me, the waters that thou saw where the prostitute is seated are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. right? That's the world. That's the world superpower. Who is the world superpower according to everybody in the world? America, right? That's this specifically. It says, and the 10 horns that thou saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. Who's a prostitute? America. But here's the thing: the beast and the horns are allies to America currently, at least on paper. At least on paper, they don't either. At least on paper, they're allies to America. It says they will hate the prostitute, they will make her desolate and naked, and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire. So the allies of the prostitute are, or the great whore America, Babylon the Great, is they're going to turn on Babylon. They're going to turn on America. This is a prophecy we're waiting for, right? It says, for God has put into their hearts and to carry out his purpose by being of one mind and handing over the royal power to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled, right? It says, and the woman that you saw is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth. You know, now you have a moron Christian to tell you that's the Vatican. I would like for you to show that without me having to watch a YouTube video about a guy showing sources. And when I look at the sources, it's trust me, bro, right? That's where we are in 2020, 2026, right? But this is what's going to happen. America's allies are going to turn on America, or the horns are going to turn on Babylon, if you want to use biblical terms. And that's going to usher in our deliverance, which is going to ultimately result in our salvation, right? This right here. This right here. The destruction of Babylon the Great, man. Babylon. And it's going to lead to this right here. What you see this right here? 2 Ezra 6 and 9. I ain't brought this out in a minute. It says, now Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. Literally saying what's literally seeing this play out as Revelation unfolds. Exactly. And that's part of this. This is the end of that age when America's allies turns on America and burns it up. Thus saith God, thus saith the Bible. So us being Bible believers and people who are supposed to measure the time diligently, we're waiting on this. So let's watch some things. Let me show y'all something. Right? Let's start here. Let's look what a no. Let's do an easier one. Let's do an easier one. Let's start here with my.
All hell is breaking loose as Donald Trump has caused the entire world essentially to turn against the United States.
Oh my! Is that not what we just read so far? Is that not literally what we just read? But let's continue. Oh shoot! Look at me. I got you.
All hell is breaking loose as Donald Trump has caused the entire world essentially to turn against the United States very, very quickly. What you just saw there at the beginning of this video was Iran launching its 80th wave of strikes on U.S. bases and infrastructure and at Israel. Since this war has begun, Iran has shown no signs of slowing down its strikes. Now, as Donald Trump is out there saying he's ready to do a 30-day ceasefire and he's ready to do a deal with Iran, the Iranian military leadership is responding, mocking Donald Trump and mocking the United States, essentially. It is deeply, deeply embarrassing. I'll get to that in a moment, but equally embarrassing to have French military leaders like France's army chief, Fabien Mondon, warning that the United States is becoming increasingly unpredictable, affecting France's security interests. We were surprised by an American ally who's becoming increasingly unpredictable and doesn't even bother to inform us when they launch military operations. That's France's army chief right there.
Yeah, it's like that's the equivalent of, like, say you got a friend in your friend group and he's the one that's always crashing out, but you never know where he's going to crash out. That's a dangerous friend. That's how America's acting with France, right? Do you think they're going to take that for forever? Something to put in your head, right? 10 horns going to hate the whore.
Or listen to what Turkish President Erdogan is saying on Iran. He says, although the war is Israel's war, the whole world is paying the price. The war is Netanyahu's war for political survival, but 8 billion people are suffering the consequences. And from people in Iraq to Turkey to Pakistan to Lebanon to Egypt, and within Arab nations, people are speaking out against the United States, especially as the United States security umbrella is demonstrating that it ain't providing security. All the pay-for-play schemes, funneling money to Trump and his family. Trump has demonstrated not just that he's a paper tiger, but that he is weak and pathetic and just lies all of the time.
He lies all the time, right? That's one, right? Let's look at some more stuff. Let's look at some more stuff. Watch this.
I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say he accidentally said, no, there's no accidents with me, not too many.
And then Donald Trump was continuously attacking NATO. I'll show you.
Oh, hold on. This is a sidebar. That's wild for 47 to say that. This man says there's no accidents with him. A lady just asked him about why did y'all blow up like a little girls' school in Iran. The first thing they did was that, to enter into this war. Why did y'all do that? And he says, oh no, that wasn't us. Then they asked him again after they admitted it was them. Like America admitted it was America. Trump says, well, they must have stole a Tomahawk missile and bombed themselves. And now imagine they came to America, stole a Tomahawk missile and bombed themselves. So there's no accidents. That sounds silly, right? And then after saying that, they asked him again after they evidently proved it was America. Like, we're not going to be silly. Right? He says, oh, I don't know about that. What are you talking about, bro? 47, like, and people are still, people at my job are fighting to the death for this man to be their Jesus. It's crazy. Talk about there's no accidents with this dude. This man is an accident.
You Trump attacking NATO right here.
But I think a tremendous mistake was when NATO just wasn't there. They just weren't there. It's going to make a lot of money for the United States because we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO, hundreds of protecting them. And we would have always been there for them. But now, based on their actions, I guess we don't have to be, do we?
Mr. President.
That sounds like a breaking story, yes, sir. Is that breaking news?
So he's basically saying, so we don't got to be there for NATO then. But that's the 10 horns. You don't have to be there for that. Y'all are the ones guiding them wherever the world order is going to be, because y'all get to make it because y'all are the superpower, right? They're following wherever you're going. You're telling them that you're not going to be a security to them no more. You think they're going to continue to side with you? You know how easy it'd be for them to just like, you know what? We don't have any oil. Why not? Let's side with Iran. Like, this is what you're saying openly in public, buddy. Like, y'all, like, if we're gonna be real honest right now, when you look at alternative media, this war isn't going in your favor. I don't know what makes you think you're gonna. I digress. Let's continue.
I think we just have breaking news, but that's the fact. I've been saying that. Why would we be there for them if they're not there for us? They weren't there for us.
There was a G7 meeting that took place in France. I'll do a whole other video after this on that G7 meeting, which was attended by Marco Rubio. It was an unmitigated disaster.
No, this right here is what I really wanted to get to. What Marky Mark is about to say. Watch this.
Kaja Kallas, the former president of Estonia, who's now the number 2 in the European Union. She's like the head of foreign policy and like the vice president, basically, of the EU. She started basically yelling at Rubio, what the hell are you doing in Iran? I mean, what the hell are you doing there? What are you doing with Russia? Why do you look so weak? Why are you removing sanctions? Like, what in the world are you doing? Then apparently, like, Rubio was yelling back, and then Rubio told all the G7 members and all these NATO members, he's like, Strait of Hormuz isn't our problem anymore. It's all of your problems at this point. As this after, I'm gonna play this clip for you, Rubio.
Okay, I need you to understand what he's saying. The Strait of Hormuz, like we make, because America, we have our own oil deposits here. We can make our own oil, crude it, like get crude, convert it to gas, convert it to usable oils, use it for various different things. We can do that. But the other nations over there in the bottom of the spit, the European nations, NATO, EU, they can't do that. So they say, well, you know what? We're gonna just declare victory, and whatever happens to y'all is what happens to y'all. Why? And if I'm watching it, let's say I'm France or the UK, and I'm running low, because when we get to this next video, the next video is the one that y'all need to see. We're gonna talk about some tactical nukes, like from Call of Duty. Somebody got a 25 kill streak. We're gonna talk about that. But if I'm France or I'm the EU and I'm running out of oil, and America, you just brought me into this conflict with Iran, and they have oil and I don't. Wouldn't it make more sense for me to now align myself with the people who have oil if I need that? The lack of oil can halt your economy. And we've already seen that. And matter of fact, the next video they're going to talk about it. But lacking oil can bring your economy to a screeching halt. In developed civilizations like in first world countries and civilizations like America, the European nations, if you don't have that oil, it's over with. It's over with. Look at that too. That too, right? So they're gonna have to align with somebody. They're gonna have to pick a side. And you know what that sounded? You know what that sounds like? World War III. People are gonna have to line up and pick sides. They're not gonna sit there and just and especially if there's nothing they can do about it. Like you said, America brought these people into a war and then caused a whole bunch of chaos in the world space, right? That in geopolitics, the world economies, the whole entire markets for the oil, and just said, you know what, we're gonna get up out of here. I know we caused a lot of issues. They're not even resolved, but that's y'all's problem. Oh yeah, they're about to start hitting the war very soon.
Goes after this war ends.
Revelation 17 is loading.
We're all going to have to accept the reality that Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz. There's nothing we can do about it. So if you want to deal with it yourself, you deal with it. But the United States, we don't see this as our problem. Just think about the gall for Rubio to say we don't see this as our problem. And Rubio essentially admitting defeat by saying we're going to what? You're going to allow Iran to control the Strait of Hormuz? Just listen, just so you know, I'm not exaggerating. Here's what Rubio says. You can listen to what Rubio says for yourself. Play this clip.
Well, we're talking about this. There are some in the Iranian regime that are going around saying that they want to make the Strait of Hormuz tolling thing. They want to make it permanent. That's unacceptable. The whole world should be outraged by it. We're impacted by it a little bit, but the rest of the world is impacted by it a lot more, including many of the countries represented today here at the G7. And so if those countries are deeply impacted by it, all we've said is, you guys need to do something about it. We'll help you, but you guys are going to need to be ready to do something about it. Because when this conflict and when this operation ends, if the Iranians decide, well, now we control the Straits of Hormuz, and you can only go through here if you pay us, and if we allow you to, that's not only is it illegal under international law and maritime law, it's unacceptable. And that can't be allowed to exist. And so what we've said is that the countries that are most impacted by that should be willing to do something about it, and we'll help them. And that's what I said.
It's the Kobe.
You ain't gonna help them. Y'all can't even help yourselves. Y'all not even, because Trump dumbass talking about he got a gift talking about some. They let 8 to 10 oil tankers get through the strait, and nobody's confirming that. Y'all can't even help yourselves. Y'all not about to help them. You about to leave them ass out, and you know what that means? Oh, I'm going to this side. The grass is looking a whole lot greener over here with Iran and with BRICS. That's what they're gonna do.
Biasi letter explains. So we're ending last week with the U.S. oil prices at $101 per barrel or $114 per barrel, depending on which metric you use. The S&P 500 is at a 232-day low. The U.S. 10-year note yields are at 4.4%. I mean, the 2-year note yields, the 10-year note yields, the 20-year note yields are surging like crazy. That's why mortgage rates are going to be at record highs. We're going to see surging inflation. And the Kobayashi letter says, if the last 14 months have taught us anything, it is the next 50 hours until 6 p.m. Eastern time, when the futures markets open on Sunday, that Trump and Besant, they're going to try to do everything they can to manipulate the market before the futures open on Sunday. The futures markets open. Meanwhile, you have MB Ghalibaf, the head of the Iranian parliament, saying a few things. One, he says, how can the U.S., which can't even protect its own soldiers at its bases in the region and instead leaves them stashed away in hotels, protect them on our soil? And then he also said that the markets are getting numb to all of Donald Trump's manipulation. And so
that's pretty much it on that. But he said the same thing I said. It's how y'all gonna help them? Y'all can't even help yourselves, bro. Come on. But this one, see, this is the longer video right here. Now, if you're not watching Redacted, you're not watching news, right? Midas touches, they're okay. Breaking points, they're right under Redacted. But if you're not watching Redacted, you're not watching the news, bro. If you're watching Fox News, if you're watching CNN, you might as well go on social media and get your news, man, because that's what you're getting. You're getting absolute propaganda. That's what you're getting. Now let's watch this. This is gonna be crazy, man. Oh yeah, we're doing the same thing for you, sis. The same exact thing for you too, and all of Israelite here. All right, even the ones who don't like me.
Let's look at a couple of other data points that I think we need to take into consideration. England, that is Great Britain, is just about out of oil. They figure that in 2 weeks they'll be completely out of oil. You have a similar situation, by the way, in Australia, and I was amazed to discover that Australia doesn't have a single refinery. So that country could come to a complete screeching halt in the very near future. They have to look at the impact on India. They have millions of people lined up at the gas pump trying to buy refined gasoline. The only one that seems to be doing really...
India is a BRICS country. So, they're going to have to do something about this. If they do something about this and somebody attacks India, what happens? BRICS going to have to step in. Just like if somebody attacked like one of the European nations who were part of NATO and EU, everybody has to step in for that too. Trump is either doing this on purpose or he's very stupid. And, for my case, I hope it's both, actually. I hope it's both, actually. But watch this.
Really well at this point is Russia. Russia is making an additional $250 million per day on top of what it was already earning every single day. So while the Strait of Hormuz bleeds commercial traffic, Russian oil becomes more and more valuable. And if you look at Asia and Europe, and now I think we're seeing this begin to get into North Africa and perhaps other parts of Africa, there is a food, fuel, fertilizer, and feed crisis developing. In other words, the financial, economic consequences are building.
And that's literally because of Trump. He's causing a food, an economic, and fertilizer crisis in the world. This man is literally making America the world's enemy. Like, this is crazy work, bro.
Such that if Trump cannot declare victory very soon, the rest of the world is going to come down on him very hard and say, stop, the war is killing us. So that's the first thing. And then when you look at these islands that are targeted, the question you have to ask is, assuming you can get there, what do they do for you? Invasion or blockade of Karg Island? All right, go ahead and do that. What difference is it going to make? That's not the only place where oil can be shipped out by Iran. And if you do this, if you go in great strength into the Persian Gulf, that shuts the movement down, of vessels through the straits to zero. Right now, it's dropped off by about 95%. So the 5% that are getting through, tankers headed to India, tankers headed to Japan, tankers headed to China, they'll be stopped as well. Now, China has a substantial reserve of oil, many months left. That's not the case with most everybody else. So I think
which means most everybody else is going to have to do something at a certain point. They can't let their oil go to zero because it makes their economy go to zero. And like I said, developed countries like that, their entire economy is hinged off of oil. You think they're going to just sit down and take this? I don't think so. That sounds like World War III to me.
The whole idea right now is, yes, they want a war-winning offensive. Can they do it from the air? Is an attack inside the Gulf going to do any good? And if they do these things, what else are they going to hit? Are they going to hit desalination plants and power plants in Iran, in which case everything on the other side of the Gulf, up and down on the eastern side, western side, is going to be destroyed. And it'll take decades to recover from this kind of damage. So I just think a lot of people in Washington are disconnected from reality right now, most of all the Pentagon and the president.
I'll throw this out to both of you, Colonels. The Pentagon, according to Dave DeCamp, commenting on Axios reporting this afternoon, the Pentagon is developing options for a potential major escalation against Iran that could involve ground troops. News officials and other sources speaking to Axios, Barak Ravid, former IDF intelligence officer, described the potential escalation as, quote, a final blow that would give Trump more leverage and room to declare victory, though all indications are that Iran is ready to face ground forces and that any such operation would prolong the war. We heard from the Iranian.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, they're calling this ground invasion that they're going to do a final blow. I'm trying to figure out what makes you think that's going to work. You're going to their land where they're ready for you. They literally said they mobilized 1 million troops. You've only sent like, what is it, like? Is it? I forgot if it's 10,000 or 100,000. Either way, they got 1 million ready to mobilize. Y'all, what are you talking about? But this. I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I want to believe this man is stupid or somebody's making him do it. I don't know which one it is. Right. I really don't know which one it is. Right. I personally think it's both, but it's probably one or the other.
Reports today from Iran saying that they are mobilizing upwards of 1 million fighters for a potential ground war, according to Iranian sources, and also being reported by Al Jazeera. So Colonel Davis, final blow that would give Trump more leverage. But I'm confused because Trump in the past few days has been telling us that this war is over, that we've won, and that any discussion around that is fake news. So why would we have to have an invasion and a final blow if the war is already over? And I'm just...
It's because he's lying. It's because he gets on Fox News and lies. He's a liar, right? Now, if somebody asks me why he's lying, I'm going to say the same thing Cat Williams said. I don't know why liars lie. I don't know why liars lie. They just do it, and that's what he's doing. He's lying to you. I've never seen somebody get up every day and say they're winning, they won a war and still continue to be in a war and escalate while they're escalating on you. I've never seen that. You know, that's the equivalent of you seeing somebody get into a fight and they getting their ass whooped, right? They land a few blows, but they getting their ass whooped. They talking about they winning the fight, like talking shit like you're winning the fight. Like that's what we're seeing right here, bro.
Well, yeah, and it just goes on to show that just the disconnected from reality that President Trump is. And by the way, I wanted to add this one other data point that Doug just mentioned here. Is the Iran conflict is endangering Taiwan's semiconductor industry by throttling supply of vital materials such as helium, aluminum, and bromine, and crucially energy, as Iran-backed shipping routes jeopardize over a third of Taiwan's Qatari liquefied natural gas, which they need to make these threats. So you're talking about there's also a near-term threat even to the semiconductor industry. This just having tentacles all over the global.
Oh, see this right here. What he just said right there is about to go over everybody's heads. Look at this. I'm gonna play it back, and I'm gonna say
gas, which they need to make these threats. So you're talking about there's also a near-term threat even to the semiconductor industry. This just having tentacles all over the global economy.
So he's saying this is causing disruptions in the semiconductors, like them being made and sold and moved, right? I don't know if anybody knows what a semiconductor is. Those are the chips in all of your phones, your computers, things that hold data. What else? Alarm systems, technology that all smart technology that you use right now today in 2026. Those have semiconductors in them. If those are disrupted, prices are going to shoot through the roof for all technology. See, y'all like these Apple phones. I don't get it, right? It's like, bro, it's Team Android, bro. Like it's, I got the 26 Ultra, Samsung Master Race. But all you guys who get your iPhones that take away features from you every year for what, like $1,200? Could you imagine a day and age where that's $2,500? You know what that's going to make your bill every month? Skyrocket. And then on top of that, wouldn't AT&T, who uses technology, who builds information infrastructure throughout really the world, why wouldn't they charge you more for your bill anyway, outside of that charge that goes up because of your phone as a surcharge? Because they're getting hit too. Like this is being, like he said, like this is hitting basically like globally. Like not only is your tech being raised in prices and have the ability to be hyperinflated, so is your food because of fertilizer. So are gas prices. Right? This is what we're about to see. Like what's crazy, bro, in the spirit. I was just about to say this. This is 2008 all over again. I was a little kid when that happened. It's 2008 all over again. I'm asking my dad what's going on and how to explain this. He couldn't even do it. That's where we at right now, bro. That's where we are right now.
Just the fact of the global, the oil itself. So that's putting pressure literally all over the world that Doug was talking about on President Trump to get this over with. And I think that the allure of having, let's go in with one big blow here and it's going to win it. I'll just tell you, there is no one big blow that you can level. We fired 10,000 strikes so far of everything that we have. And I'm talking bunker busters, these big ones, JASMs, the Tomahawks, you name it. We've been firing everything. And obviously, it's now almost background noise for the Iranians. They have figured out how to endure this, and they could go on probably indefinitely like this. So the only thing that you could theoretically do is bring in a tactical nuclear weapon. And God help us all if that's the case.
The only thing you can do is do a what? This man said a tactical. Bro, I like how freaking everybody now in 2026 is saying tag nuke, but nobody said that until Modern Warfare 1 came out. Like when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, we didn't hear about tag nuke until then. Now everybody's saying that. Nobody was saying that beforehand. But he said, but the idea is, he says, if you keep on doing this, man, the ground invasion ain't work. You're not gonna win it through the air. You're gonna have to drop a tag nuke, man. You're gonna have to get a 25 kill streak to end this war. But the thing is, that's gonna cause disruptions in the BRICS nations. And they're gonna be near the nuclear fallout, so that's gonna be provocation for war. Like, and that's gonna cause an issue for the European nations as well. Bro, we about to be in World War III. If you're not paying attention now, bro, look. Now, and not to say, and I'm not gonna be, y'all just being a false prophet. They signed a peace treaty tomorrow. That could happen, but boy, have we seen it. I've never seen a mousetrap like this. I ain't never seen a mousetrap like this. This is crazy.
Trump has some idea that he's going to have a big once and for all kind of thing. I don't even know what else you can bring in that even theoretically could bring in one.
And I got to say this too. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the titles of these people who's been talking, these two white guys. These are retired colonels. These aren't just regular YouTubers. These aren't people who just get on the internet and say words. These are people who actually served high up in the military saying these words. So look, bro, you need to get yourself right today. Yesterday, actually.
Final blow, because there is nothing. You've already attacked everything, and now we're attacking things multiple times in some cases. And so I don't know what they're talking about. There's no conventional.
I'm sorry to just keep stopping it. You attack the same thing more than once. Y'all should just blowing stuff up to blow stuff up. You're attacking the same thing more than once. If you already blew it up, that's why you ain't gonna have to see. If I'm China If I'm China right now, I'm pressing Taiwan. They said they're going to do that before 2027. If I'm watching this right now, I'm pressing you right now. I'm pressing. I'm seeing this, looking at the fact that we haven't been in no wars. We've invested into our country. We have oil. Oh, I'm pressing you. I'm pressing you. Full court press.
Answer for that, I'll just tell you. But the pressure on President Trump to get this over with fast is about to start striking big time here at home, in the Middle East, in Europe, and of course now you see also in Asia. So this is a disaster of epic proportions. It's unfolding before our eyes, and you can understand why President Trump is desperate to get this over with, and that may lead to desperate actions that have even less a chance of success. And I worry a lot about what could be coming.
Doug, I get you to respond to that. I think you're spot on. But where would these troops, do you think, be landing? There's lots of speculation.
Well, I ain't gathering no Gentiles.
We've had other people say
I'm gathering Israel,
which is a port area there. And then Benjamin Netanyahu today released a video.
But I got a camp for you,
the
brother.
backdrop behind him is Kamarok, as if sort of like telegraphing or as a feint behind him in his background that, you know, almost like the deception before the Normandy landings. You know, we're going to try to. Everyone thinks you're going to land at Calais because it's close. You know, it's as close to the UK as possible, and then you get Monty out there parading around, looking like he's about to lead this invasion across Calais, and then it happens at the Normandy beaches. Right, all of this deception was happening, but when you look at the Strait of Hormuz, like how much deception can there actually be? I mean, you've got Kuwait, but you've got eyes and ears everywhere.
Well, that's the bottom line. Deception, I think, is an impossibility. That doesn't mean that the Iranians have to be everywhere at once. They just have to have numerous weapon systems within range of any of the potential targets, and that's what they've got. They can sit 150 kilometers inside Iran from north to south, and they can take under fire very effectively any of the potential targets that we've mentioned. The question is, first of all, if you're in the Marines, you've got to come ashore. How are you going to do that? Are you going to fly directly from your amphibious carriers, or perhaps from the Navy's carriers, fly from there to some point on land? Do you then get out and?
Hey, it was funny. Hey, Roxy, I could have swore I was watching a news article. Iran actually did that. Like they made like inflatables of certain of their aircrafts, and America's been bombing them, thinking they're actual aircraft. Like I gotta find it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on.
Reorganize and get ready to go, and then fly further. I mean, this is a very complex operation. There's not, as Dan said, there's not much time to get ready for it. So I'm hopeful that as we progress in the days ahead, that we can avoid the whole thing altogether. Now, that may not be possible, but here's another data point. This just came into me. This is from Channel 13 in Israel. It was originally in Hebrew. It was translated for me. And it says, the chief of staff of the Israeli Defense Force warned last night in a cabinet meeting, the Israeli army is on the verge of collapse from within. I'm raising 10 red flags, Zamir added. The army now needs a conscription law, a reserve law, and a law to extend mandatory service. The reserves will not hold up. He said these things in front of the prime minister, heads of the security apparatus, and ministers. So I think we have to understand that the nation for which we're fighting.
Okay. I found it. Hold up. Let me see if I get it. Well, hold on. I'm pull up here. Hold up.
Is a real problem. They've got an enormous problem on their hands. And I don't know how they're going to solve their problems, but we can't solve that problem for them, what happens internally. So bottom line is, I think the whole thing has reached a strategic inflection point. And they have to make it.
Military aircraft. One striking clip.
Okay, is this on the screen? Look at these big dummies. It's called Iran fools U.S. and Israel with painted helicopter decoys. Bro, look at that. Bro, this shit.
explosive viral footage is circulating online, claiming that Israeli jets may have struck painted decoys in Iran instead of real military aircraft. One striking clip shows a missile hitting what appears to be a Chinook helicopter silhouette on an airstrip, sparking outrage and disbelief. Could Iran really have tricked the Israeli?
Bro, this, bro, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. These people are embarrassing, man. See, trusting in America, you're cooked, bro. Because they're blowing up paint.
Circumstances as to what they're going to do next. And the notion initially is going to be double down. Keep doing something which has failed thus far in the hopes that it will produce success. I think that's where we're headed. I don't think it's going to produce success.
I want to ask both of you, we have some super chats come in for some questions here. The German Rabbit asks an age and an energy person natural.
I think that would be just domestic.
So first on just the draft question, Dan, you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah. Look, I think that would be just domestic disaster to try and have a draft. I mean, I think that they have extended the ages here because I think that there are those in the Pentagon and apparently the White House that are saying, hey, if this thing goes south, this war here, I mean, we could just get sucked in and we may need more people. We better start getting them right now. And so you want to try to do that, quietly if you can, by just allowing more people to come in and join by extending the ages here. That's not going to work. Number one, I doubt there are very many people that are in that age that are also qualified and desire to come in.
Yeah, especially when they see a freaking imminent war. But I disagree with this man on this topic. He's saying, I don't think there's going to be a draft. I definitely think there's going to be a draft. And the reason why I say that is China's, bro, if I'm China, I'm pressing. I'm pressing for Taiwan, bro. And the thing is, America, especially after this, with this economy stuff going on, right? The stuff going on with the economy. If y'all let Taiwan fall to China, there goes all your semiconductors. Y'all don't make those here. Where are you gonna get your tech from? Y'all I play video games. I do a little bit of streaming, right, on Twitch. That guy Yachty, right? But I've just built a computer. I built a computer last month. RAM is ridiculous. RAM used to be the cheapest thing in your computer. Like RAM is you can get like the top, I guess, 2 sticks of like what 8 or 16 for maybe like $90. RAM right now, goddamn $500 for 2 sticks. RAM right now costs as much as a PS5. Every computer needs RAM. RAM takes semiconductors. Could you imagine what those prices are going to be? Right. CPUs need semiconductors. Motherboards, semiconductors. Right. GPUs, semiconductor. Bro, building a computer is going to be, you won't be able to do that in 2026. I mean, if we keep on going. Hold up, eyes. Let me see. This you, man?
Yo, Shalom, God.
Shalom, man. It's Hebrew heavyweight, man.
What's good with y'all? What's going on, people?
Yeah, man.
It's getting bad out here.
It's spooky, bro. Bro, wait till we get deeper into this, bro. Like this was saying, like there's not gonna be a draft. Bro, I think there's gonna be a draft.
I think there's going to be a draft, bro. And I don't know about anybody else, but they're gonna have to come get me.
They're gonna come get me too. I'm not going.
I'm not going.
I'm not going. But the thing is, I don't think these Edomites are going either.
No. But, these, bro, I've been looking all over like TikTok and social media. Most even like these gentlemen right here, these colonels, people from their generation who used to serve say they don't even want to fight. They don't even want to send their kids to go fight for this.
Yeah,
it's bad, bro.
Because they know it's Operation Epic Epstein, right?
Oh my God.
They know it's that. These Edomites, bro. These Edomites, like MAGA, right? I call them MEGA, like make Israel great again, right?
MEGA.
I said I be trolling the people in my job with some of the Trump supporters. I said, y'all wanted Hispanics out y'all wanted Hispanics out when y'all voted for MAGA. Now you're Amiga, right?
Yeah. This is crazy.
You're making Israel great again. You guys are gonna be drafted into this war to be a part of the Goy wall.
Yeah,
like the wall of Goy to slam into.
And it's funny how the Lord got them in the trap, because it's like either you gonna have to make a peace treaty and show the world how weak you really are and how you really can't get out there in the field, or you gonna have to drop that nuke. It's only two ways right now.
Yeah, you gonna have to get that 25 kill streak, man.
Oh my goodness,
you gonna have to do it one way or another, man.
And if you go into a draft situation, I mean, there's a reason why we got rid of the draft that got us out of the Vietnam War, and why they went to the all professional military, and why we've used it so easily since that way, because you affect such a small portion of the population. But if you now start going back into that, to where you're now pulling these kids from all over the country who have no interest in or desire to serve, and force them into a war that they don't, you're going to have a revolt on your hands. I truly believe that.
Yeah, because he knows these Edomites ain't going for it, bro.
Bro, you gotta be in the sunken place if you don't see what's going on, bro.
Yeah, bro. You gotta be. You out of there.
The Lord literally blinds you, because if you don't see what's going on, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Look, can you read this? Hold up. This is 2 Ezra 15. Start at verse 14.
It says the world and the people in it are doomed.
That's where we at right now.
My goodness.
The world and the people in it, like, you're cooked. Right, you cooked. It's finished. It's hell no, I ain't going, bro. Because look, you're going to have to come get me, and it's fine, Because I already look. I'm not even gonna say that on the internet, right?
Just know you're gonna have to come get us, bro.
Yeah. And even then,
Right.
And even then, but I'm not gonna say that on the internet. But keep going.
It says the war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. There will be a great political turmoil, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control, while ignoring the legitimate government.
Yeah, that right there, right there. That's what's gonna happen if you put that draft out here for Epstein, right? And mind you, they found pictures of him out there in Israel, right?
Who?
Epstein.
Oh, bro. What's that guy's name, bro? The dude that's been whistleblowing on the CIA.
Ooh.
His name is John something. You ain't never seen him. He be out there explaining like what they really do in the CIA, and people's asking him, is there really hitmen out there? Well, he was explaining, because the government don't rock with him, but he was explaining that he believed Jeffrey Epstein was a spy.
Oh yeah. They've been saying that. They said that on Redacted.
Yeah. Everybody's saying it. Like I think Israel sent him over here to show the world to get dirt on how freaky these
code it.
Yeah, these Edomites are.
Yeah,
right. So they can have the upper hand on them and being like, look, y'all gonna have to fight for us. If not, we finna disclose all this. Yeah, bro.
It's coming, bro. And the thing is, and now it's so open. Like Trump is such a dummy. This is going back to why I think he's stupid as well. Why would you run on this if you know you're in it? If you know, like you were around him, and there's a possibility for you to be in it. First of all, why would you let any of it be released? And now that it has been released, we've seen a war come right after that. So people are going to naturally think, oh, you're doing this war because of that. So these Edomites are not about to go for that. They're not about to fight and die for Israel. You saw that dude. You saw that I forgot if he was retired, if he was still in the service. That dude who ran up in that courthouse and said, I'm not going to fight and die for Israel.
And they broke his arm.
Yeah, they broke his arm.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, they're not going for that. They're not going for that.
And then if you're looking from the other side from Iran, you got 12-year-olds on their side trying to go to war.
Yeah.
They trying to sign up. I'm like, yeah, bro.
Because they made it existential. They're looking at it. They're reading their not apocryphal, but revelation type books and listens to their sages, thinking like, look, bro, this is that one battle. This is our Armageddon.
Yeah.
So of course the 12-year-old, about to get like, okay, I believe in, according to them, I believe in Allah. I'm ready to,
we about to get it cracking.
We about to get it cracking. That's where we at, bro. That's where we at. Let me go. I think that no. There's more.
Look, Yaquan was saying that on one of those ships, the soldiers are like literally clogging, making it flood.
They talk about that in this.
Oh yeah. Okay, bet. Let's get it.
Yeah, but finish these verses out though.
Well, it says verse 17. It says there will no longer be free access to the cities.
Martial law.
Because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live.
Mm-hmm.
This is driven by famine and terrible suffering. People will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions.
That's it on that. But like the famine and stuff, like we already talked about. They already talked about the economic fertilizer and various food shortages as a result of them closing the Straits of Hormuz.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see this. Like, I'm not saying this to say that we're making a direct prophecy as I'm saying like, oh, that's going to be this, but we see like we have all the things here to make this happen with this war and this conflict right here. That's why we're fixated on it. We're right there. So this, like, bro, we out of here, bro. I go. That's how I feel. Like,
I feel like we out of here.
Yeah,
Lord willing. But man,
you
gotta keep watching. This is a good season on America.
Yeah,
working more. I think it's
good season.
Unless we had a Pearl Harbor type thing where somebody attacked us out of nowhere, and then even then it wouldn't be. I don't think the reaction, because our population isn't the same as it was in 1941. So I don't think we would react the same way. But there would be plenty. There would be a number of people that would do that to take care of the country, but not this. Not a war of choice that we went into. The only reason you're doing a draft is because you ignored everybody's advice that had any sense, like Doug McGregor, and you went down this path because he was saying, even on my own show several times for months ahead of this, what a disaster this would be, and it's unfolding just like he said, and in some ways even worse. And people would see that then, and they're going to go, no, I'm not going to send my son or daughter into death here. I mean, we're not.
For Epstein, they're not doing it. They're not going for it, bro. These Edomites is not like, bro. Like, I saw this video at work the other day, and I was like, no, we're talking about this. I wanted to do it yesterday, but I was looking at some other stuff, and I was tired as hell. These niggas got me on freaking 55s. But look, damn it, I got off of work today. We going into it today. This is nuts, right? He knows he like, because his podcast, more Edomites are gonna watch that more than just like Jake, right? These Edomites ain't going for it. And if he's saying this, that's a reflection to the rest of the nation. These Edomites not going for it, bro.
To do that. So I think that if you get to that point, you're going to have a revolt on your hands.
Of course, likely not to have another Pearl Harbor, because now with alternative media and our
I'm not going to say that.
I would.
I'm not going to say that on here because of YouTube reasons, but you're right.
I would be immediately out there saying, oh, did the president know about this ahead of time and allow this to happen, just like Pearl Harbor? False flag. I think 1941 looks a lot different now with alternative media. I think you would have a disaster on your hands, Doug. What do you think on the draft question and Russia, China, and all of this?
Well, first on the draft question, we went to a volunteer army, and it had the same impact as going off the gold standard. Once we went off the gold standard, we could print as much money as we wanted and use it any way we wanted to. There was no longer any accountability. There was no longer a need to raise taxes to pay for military operations.
Right.
So that's effectively why we went to the volunteer army, and everybody in Washington loves that. So I see no evidence that they're going to try and draft anybody, because I think...
And like I said earlier, I would disagree with him, because he's coming from the standpoint of this ain't about to be protracted. He's coming from the standpoint that, like, Trump decides to do the best case scenario. I don't know what that looks like, but the best case scenario gets up out of this, or he didn't stay in it long enough for it to get that bad. I think the opposite, because like I said, China is going to press. Ukraine's probably gonna get like who knows what's gonna happen with that, because Russia getting all this. They're literally funding their war against Ukraine. So that's who knows what way that's gonna go. And who knows what Russia's going to do? And who knows what China's going to do? Right? This is like, to say that, I don't think there's going to be a drift. Nah. I'm telling you, let's see what happened with Taiwan. Because I'm not going to hold you. If I'm Trump and I know I'm stupid, I'm going to just let them have that if we're going to be real about it. Because if y'all can't deal with Iran, I don't know what makes you think you can deal with China.
It ain't gonna be. It's no way we can deal with China if we can't deal with Iran.
Like going to go fight China is like you're Red's dad. You see Red get Shoryuken into the sky.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, do you want a piece of this old man?
No.
That's what it's like looking at China right now. I'm like, no. But if Trump is really that stupid and tries that, look, bro. You know, it's like there's really no words that need to even be said about that. Like you're cooked, and it's gonna be funny.
Dan's absolutely right, and I can just see that Baron Cameron and Lutnick's children and Witkoff's sons, and let's just go down the list. Kushner's. I can see them all rushing to go fight against Iran for Greater Israel. I don't think so. I'd be very surprised.
Right.
So no, I don't see a draft coming at all. Now, then there's the other thing. Right. The Chinese and the Russians have been watching this in disbelief. Everybody thinks, well, they're our enemies. Okay. Most of them would just like to do business with the rest of the world, and they're not interested in going to war with us. And I think they view our thinking as incredibly stupid.
And I wouldn't either. I wouldn't be interested in going to war because America go finish themselves. Economically being stupid. He said, "Oh, we ain't even got to do nothing. They're gonna do it to themselves."
They can't believe we're doing the things that we're doing. But what they will do if we continue down this road, and there's no evidence whatsoever that we're willing to get off, you will have both Moscow and Beijing will try first to talk directly to President Trump, and they'll say, "Look, this has got to stop for the sake of the world, for the world economy, for everybody. We don't want Iran to collapse. If you're trying to destroy Iran and you succeed, millions and millions of refugees will pour over the border into Turkey, into Syria, into Iraq. Eventually, they'll find their way to Europe. This is a catastrophe. So we don't want this to happen." I don't think that will get that far, but I'm sure that that's on the minds of both Putin and I even think the German chancellor, as deranged as he is capable of understanding the implications of that, along with Macron. And I think that's why they both said, forget it. We're not going to participate in this crazy war. But in the final analysis, all of this, unfortunately, rests with Donald Trump. And if he can't find a way to declare victory, then he's going to face a very difficult time in Washington, D.C. This could actually force him out of office. And since everything...
Yeah. And this is why I've been saying, like, there's really no way for him to get out of this. He could just cut bait right now and say, screw it. Though, we got punched in the face. But you're probably getting... what's that called? What's that word? Impeached. You're probably getting impeached for sure because this was a legal war in the first place. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to jail. America looks weak, and somebody's going to try America after that. You're really going to have to sit in front of the slot machine and keep putting coins in and hope you jackpot.
Yeah,
that's what you're going to have to do.
That's the only way.
That's why I'm happy that okay, yeah, this has to be World War III because the Trump ain't got you don't got no off ramp, bro. He's looking for it. It's like you keep on driving and you're running low on gas. You're just getting lower and lower and lower to the E, and ain't no exit to turn off on. To get some gas, bro. That's where we at right now. That's where we at right now, bro. I look, we almost there.
Hey, I'm glad you put me on the redacted.
You said what?
I worry.
I'm glad you put me on the redacted, but they be bringing out some good sources, bro.
Bro, it be
this real news right here. This
real news.
What Dan mentioned, which is the possibility that somebody says we'll use a tactical nuclear weapon, and we all know what that means. You use a tactical nuclear weapon, which it's a misnomer. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it like I said earlier, tactical nuke really don't exist. Y'all just got that from Call of Duty and Activision, and have been saying it since then. Mm-hmm. A nuke is a nuke. Now you drop that nuke over there, everybody's going to be affected. Like the whole Middle East. Who knows what the type of reverberation is going to happen to fall out? Like you started World War III. And Trump is just dumb enough to do it though.
He's looking like the guy. He's looking like the guy.
He's looking like the guy, bro. Every day. Like I wake up, I was like, let's see what he said today. Oh, okay, that's about right. Let me go ahead and say my prayers because who knows what
who knows what this guy.
then others who have nuclear weapons are immediately on alert, and there's a real danger of everybody getting involved. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Got another super chat here.
And Clayton, sorry, one thing I want to add to that. Sorry, I had a problem with my camera there. Quick move.
No
you talk about China and Russia. There's one thing that hasn't gotten enough focus yet. I'm sure it'll get that way as time goes on. But there's a real problem that is developing that China and Russia are definitely paying attention to, and that is when President Trump and a lot of people have been saying forever, America is the most powerful military country in the history of the world. No one else is even close. Trump says that all the time. And now that they see we can't even bring Iran to its heels, and we don't have enough ammunition to defend against Iranian missiles, and we don't have enough offensive missiles to do anything that's going to bring them to their heels. I promise you, China's going, okay, if we were worried about the United States like in a Taiwan scenario or something like that, I think that their fear of us has gone way down in their recognition that the paucity of our industrial...
You see that? If China's seeing this and they want to take Taiwan, I'll say, oh, yeah, I got y'all. That's like seeing like that's like you about to fight somebody, but you just seen him get his ass whooped. And he got his ass whooped by somebody weak. I was like, oh, yeah. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Let's go square up. Yeah. Look, man, I ain't gonna hold you. Look, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. We about to be about here. This shit crazy.
Capacity, however, the few amount of missiles we have, the technical limitations of the interceptor missiles, whether that's PAC-3 or THAAD, I think that they're looking at their production rates and their storage rates, and they're like, we can saturate anything you've got, and you're keeping your ships far away from Iran, and they don't even have a navy effectively. We've destroyed their surface combatants. They still have the speedboats, and they're a big danger to us, despite what we claim. But in terms of even a brown or blue water navy, they don't have that. China does, and I think the same thing with the Russians. They're saying, hey man, if we had to fight you on the European soil somewhere, I think that their confidence and their capabilities it went even higher than it already was, which was pretty high. We are exposing that we are not this incredible military machine. And in fact, we're a lot weaker than people thought, no matter what the president says.
Oh, that's a colonel. That's a colonel of the United States Army.
Oh my God, bro. It's funny though, because it's a lot of black people out here that we be talking to, and they swear America is just this big bad country that nobody. Man, we've been winning wars, this and the third. Look, bro, we like the brothers on the street corners. Hey, we ain't that crazy. All right, we see what's going on, bro. Y'all need to tap in and listen. For real, bro.
I'm telling you, because it's like, bro, it's getting to the point. I think I was talking to Ariel about this, bro. We ain't about to be on the streets that much longer.
Yeah, bro.
That door, like, you know, it's about the fool's virgins. That door about to close in a minute.
In a minute.
Like, niggas keep on playing. That door about to close on them.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't agree more with you, and I believe Doug agrees with you 100% on that. Here's a question. Here's a question from Blueskin. Says, do you guys think that the military would recall veterans even if they're outside their IRR time?
It's been done before. I think so. A lot of people, when they retire or leave the service, they fill out a form, and the form says, if there's a national emergency or there's a requirement, are you willing to come back and serve? And most people sign that and say yes. So I think I think they could do a lot of things to bring more people back, but it's not the answer. It's not going to change the outcome. This is not a function of how many men under arms you've got. The very, from conception or inception to where we are now is a disaster. It's never been carefully thought through. All of the underlying assumptions were always flawed because we mirror image. We assume that the enemy, whoever it is, always thinks like us. That's never the case. We impute things to the Chinese, to the Russians, we did it to the Germans, the Japanese. It doesn't work. The other thing is that we prefer assumptions we like over the evidence. Instead of digging hard and saying, where's the evidence for this assumption? We say, yeah, I believe that. That's good. Let's go with that. And then finally, there's
that's like how women do. It's like you can't find the evidence, but you know, I just feel like it's right, so we're gonna go with it.
I feel.
I just feel like, you know, I've watched the wars over here, and we've won them, except Vietnam, but we've won all of these, and I just feel like we're gonna win.
Yeah,
bro, I did it. I meant to put this in the list of videos, because did I tell you about breaking points? Like these people are like, hold up, right here where I'm hovering at.
Yeah,
bro, they're almost as good as redacted.
Okay.
Like they update a little bit more than redacted actually, but they don't got the same quality of guests as redacted.
Oh.
But they said something like they've been war gaming the war with Iran for a very long time, and they haven't been winning it organically. Like what they're gonna do and what the capability they have, America hasn't won that, right? So what they had to do, I gotta find that video. But what they have to do is they have to take away some of their weaponry and some of their resources, and then America could win in the war games. And they said we know. He said we know we can't win based off of what they got, like with their resources, their power, and their military might. But we're gonna just do it anyway because it's our plan. Like that's literally verbatim what they said on there, bro. I said, whoa.
Yeah, man, we here.
We here, bro. We here. Yeah, man. Right around Passover too. You know, we here.
Makes sense.
And why something happened on Passover?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Well, no, we're celebrating Passover on the correct time instead of a month ago, like some people.
Hey.
Tragic predisposition to dismiss the possibility that it won't work. And then what do? How do you get out of it? If we put all these troops out there, and I know it's only 10,000, still a lot of American manpower in uniform that could be spread across the Persian Gulf and these various islands and places. If it all falls apart, how do we get them out? Besides that, how do you ensure they have water? How do you replenish the ammunition? I mean, all of this kind of stuff. I just don't think anybody's thought it all through.
Dan, let me piggyback off of that.
Yeah, please.
Because the great example of that, one of the points Doug just made about that we operating on our preference.
He's having the IR since 2002. I wish they would simulate his returns. Nah, it ain't happening. Brother said, I ain't signing up to fight against Christ. That's what you ultimately gonna do.
That's what you ultimately doing. That's what you're signing up for.
It's crazy.
This is what we would prefer. This is the outcome we'd like to have. And then even if the evidence isn't there, and we certainly don't do any research for it, we just go with it because that's what we want to do. Lindsey Graham has been talking about this a lot by saying, hey, we can take Carg Island. He was seen on, I think it was CBS News over the weekend. I think and they said, hey, look, this Atlantic Journal here says there's a lot of problems going into Carg, and it was a pretty good military assessment of the challenges. And he goes, yeah, I don't care what that Monday morning armchair colonel says or whoever that was. I believe in the U.S. Marines, and they can do.
I don't care what the evidence says; they can do it, man.
America.
That's what I mean about Revelation 18. I sit a widow will not know. I sit a queen and will not know widowhood. That's what that is. That's that jingoistic white Americanism, patriotism, bro.
America. You ever seen Team America?
Yeah. America. Yeah. That's what this is, bro. Like, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
Iwo Jima, then they can definitely do this. And I about fell out of my Monday morning armchair colonel says, or whoever that was. I believe in the U.S. Marines, and they can do Iwo Jima, then they can definitely do this. And I about
bro, and how did that work out? How did Iwo Jima work out?
Fell out of my chair because I'm like, dude, the difference between Iwo Jima and Carg Island is about as different as night is from day. And he either doesn't know, doesn't care to know, or doesn't want to find out. It's just like, that's what I want to be true. So it is. And Trump listens to guys like this. And then Keith Kellogg, oh my God, his advice here lately is, yeah, we'll just roll up the Persian Gulf with a couple of Marine ships there in the Boxer and the Tripoli. And yeah, we'll just take the first part and then we'll motor on up to the next part like it's no problem. And I'm like, my God, if these are the men that are advising President Trump, no wonder we're making so many bad mistakes.
Yeah, the Doug you've been making for a long time is like, we have this 1945 style military that's still built for like a World War II military. So we're going to just roll in more aircraft carriers and that's going to work. You saw what happened with USS, Gerald Ford. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be permanently stationed there just off the coast of the island of Hormuz, just making sure that ships are going through and the Iranians won't attack those ships. It's madness.
It really is madness. The other thing that disturbs me about people like Lindsey Graham, 19,000 Marines died in the Pacific seizing islands. Nobody knows that. I don't think he understands what that means. Frankly, not all of those islands, by the way, needed to be seized. That's another tragedy.
That's what I meant about
how 58,000 airmen died in the 8th Air Force trying to penetrate German air defenses. Now, what I'm trying to get across is how many ballistic missiles does it take to achieve what I would call mass casualties? If you put 3,000, 4,000 men on a particular island and you can pepper the island with these ballistic missiles, how many of them will be killed? That's the whole point. And what are we asking them to die for? What gives us an assurance that seizing a particular rock in the Persian Gulf is suddenly going to prompt the complete opening and abandonment of the Straits of Hormuz by the Iranians? Well, there's nothing that will do that. And by the way, if you used a tactical nuclear weapon and you think at that point the Iranians would throw in the towel, I've got news for you. I think the opposite would happen. I think they'd be working tirelessly to hurl a nuclear weapon back in our faces as soon as they could develop one or receive one from someone else. So I just don't see anything positive emerging from this succession of events that we're witnessing. This has been wrong-headed from the beginning. And this was something that I think Donald Trump knew he was going to have to do when he was elected because of the people that paid for his election.
Guys, I'll get you out of here in just a minute. I wanted to have you maybe talk. You mentioned it briefly, Doug, just on the Americans killed number. We had Dr. Trita Parsi on the show yesterday who learned that within 24 hours of this outbreak, they had classified the number of casualties. And he made the point that you don't classify casualty numbers if you're happy about those casualty numbers. The numbers of American dead, American wounded have been very tight-lipped from the Pentagon. What are you hearing maybe from your sources, or what's your assessment? Do you believe the official number that they're telling us? Dan, first to you.
No, but then again, I don't believe much of what comes out of the
hold the now, if they're this is pretty much the end of it. But you see how they're hiding the numbers? Like they classified the numbers of the casualties. I thought y'all were winning.
Hey.
I thought y'all won.
Answer, bro. This is very telling. Like 2026 is very telling. So if you're, like I said, if you're not paying attention to what's going on and you don't really see how the white man is really moving, I said, like I said before, but I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell people no more. I don't.
Let's hit some scripture before we get up out of here, bro. You have with this?
Gotcha. This is 1 Thessalonians 5. You can start from 1?
Yeah, start from 1.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 1. It says, "Now concerning the times and the seasons, brothers, you have no need to have anything written to you. For you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night." It says, "While people are saying there is peace and security, then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape."
And that's like how people are saying now, like how you said, people think America is just gonna last forever. We won wars, man. Everything's gonna be fine, man. That's what this is. When people say, because people say like this is gonna be like, the Antichrist is gonna say it's peace and safety, man. No, this is Paul saying people are gonna say and act like this. When peace and safety, everything's going to be fine, and then the sudden destruction is going to happen. People are going to wake up one day and then see a nuke happen. Like, people are going to see, and I've been saying this too in classes too, and I think this, like, in Revelation 13, where it talks about when he made fire come down from heaven, like we talk about that Iwo Jima and stuff like that. I think we can see that again, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are going to wake up one day and see that, and then they're going to know it's real. At that point, the door probably gonna be closed, but
it's over there, man. It's over.
It's over with, bro. But that's what people gonna see, man. But you continue.
It says, "But you are not in darkness, brothers, for that day to surprise you like a thief. For you are all children of light children of the day. We are not of the night or of the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
You guys.
So the people of darkness, those who are being surprised by the thief, right? This is a metaphor because you never know when somebody's going to rob you. So the people who are in the dark, right? The people in the dark are the people who are going to be robbed. They don't know what's going on. They're going to know what time it is, right? So, us, like everybody on this who's seeing this right now, we're trying to be people of the light, children of the light. We know what's going on. We have the understanding. We see in Psalms 19, I think it's verse 8. It's either 8 or 9, where it talks about the law, statutes, commandments are an enlightenment to our eyes, right? This is the light we walk in the commandments and the spirit of Christ and the spirit of the prophecies, right? So that's what as we're walking. That's what it means to be a child of the light, right? What's is Sandy Houston in your chat? Or is it my chat?
I can't tell.
I can't tell. He's doing a whole lot. It's a big shout out to the Church of Born Again Jews and Gentiles, black and white men. No, Sandy. No, Sandy. No, Sandy. We're gonna go ahead and do it. This is not Save the Gentiles live stream.
No, it will not be.
This is not that, right?
Hey,
the Gentiles will be in subjection.
Yeah, when they subject and they're cleaving, they're cool.
They're cool. That's when you be cool with Cody.
And
only for a certain amount of time.
A little bit.
A little bit. So let me hit. Let's do this one. Read the second Ezra. We're gonna bring this back out. Oh shoot. Lord in Christ. There we go.
Well, we'll start from the top.
Yeah.
With the second Ezra 9 and verse 1, it says, "He answered me, measure carefully within yourself, and when you see that a certain part of the sign that were predictive have passed, then you will understand that the time has come in which the Most High will begin to visit the world that He made. When the movement of places, turmoil of people, plotting of nations, inconsistency of leaders, and confusion of princes appear in the world."
Hold on, doesn't that just sound like Trump though?
Yes.
Inconsistency of leaders, confusion of princes.
Yeah, that's Trump.
When you get down to D, all the above.
All the above.
All the above.
It says appear in the world. Then you will understand that then you will understand that it was about these things that the Most High spoke from former days, from the beginning. Just as with everything that has happened in the world, the beginning is known from the end, and the end, it says, and the end comes to be seen. So also are the times of the Most High. The beginnings are manifest in how you say that up?
Where you at? Where verse you at?
I'm in verse 6.
Manifest. Prodigies?
Prodigies? Is that how you say that?
Prodigies, yeah.
Manifest in prodigies and mighty works, and the end is evident in deeds and in signs. All this who will be saved, who will be able to escape through their works or through their faith, with which they believe, will survive the predicted dangers, and will see my salvation in my land and within my borders, which I have made holy for myself for a long time.
So that's what that from verse 1 all the way to verse, what was that, 10? Verse
1 to 8.
1 to 8. You know what? Read one more.
Okay, it says, then whoever has now absurd my ways,
abuse
my ways will be astonished, and whoever rejects them in contempt will linger in agony.
Yeah, you're basically saying you know death by pen, right? That's what this is. What this whole reaction was about, right? We're measuring the time diligently, looking at the prophecies. We see Revelation 17 say the horns are going to turn on the whore, right? Which is Babylon the Great. That's going to happen. We see an environment that can make that happen. More so now then damn near at any point I've been in the troop. I've been in the troop damn 10 years. I've never seen NATO and EU this compromised. Right? We see that. We're measuring the time diligently, and we're telling people to repent of their transgressions because that door is about to be closed. And the only people who are going to be saved and delivered are the people who have the works and the faith. That's what's going to deliver them. Works and faith, not just faith. And I saw Sandy talking about faith. Works and faith is what's going to deliver you, according to the prophet. Let's read one more, and we can close on this one. I want to read this whole chapter though, because my mom used to make me read this when I was a kid, and like I never grasped how powerful it is of a prayer. This is really a prayer, really, right? Like this whole chapter, my mom used to make me say this every day, like literally every night before I go to bed. I want to read this because this makes way more sense now than it ever has to me in my life. So go ahead and read this out.
It says, he said, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust."
So hold on, stop right there, right? So when you see this, dwelling in the shelter of the Most High is allowing him to be your refuge. Now, David is equating that to him trusting him. That's the similitude of faith. When you see faith in like in the Hebrew, it means to trust, like to trust and to pledge to something. This is making reference to your faith. That's how Sandy was talking about faith earlier, right? That's you trusting in the refuge of the Most High. Watch this. Continue.
For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence.
Now that right there, the deadly pestilence and snare of the fowler, that's what's going to happen during this times, right? When all the evil and all everybody starting to unalive each other, the sicknesses that are going to happen, the various different things. Deliver you means to save you. It's literally the same thing, right? I talked about that in my class about salvation. This you being saved from that, right? So when you trust in him, you literally being delivered by your faith. That's what this is going into. So go ahead with this.
It says he will cover you with his, is that pinions?
What you say that? Pinions.
He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a buckler. Mm-hmm. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrows that fly by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday.
Mm-hmm. And that's how we should be operating. Like if you see John, I believe it's 1 John, maybe chapter 2, it said those who are in perfect love, it casts out all fear. Right? When you perfectly love the Lord like how you're supposed to, you won't be afraid of these things. You will not fear the terror by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence, the sicknesses that stalks in the darkness, nor destruction that wastes in the noonday. Right? That's that perfect love of the Most High. That's what this is literally describing to you what faith looks like. A Christian will tell you you're delivered by faith, but could never go into what that actually means. They'll just say it just means believe. This is what that looks like. Mm-hmm. You not fearing these specific things. Go ahead.
It says 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. Mm-hmm. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked.
You're going to see people die for being wicked. Mm-hmm. You're going to see a lot of people die. It says 10,000 shall fall by your side, 10,000 at your right hand, right? But it shall not come near you specifically. Right? That's what your faith does. That's what your faith has got to. You're going to see all of this, and you're not even wavering, because that's what James was talking about a double-minded man. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And when you look at that in context, it's talking about some people who are wavering in their faith. That's what that's actually talking about. This is the person who isn't a double-minded. This is a single-minded man, right? Who sees the death and evil and the pestilences, and is not wavering behind it. Go ahead, Art.
It says, because you have made the Lord your dwelling place, the Most High, who is my refuge, no evil shall be allowed to befall you, nor plague come near your tent. Mm-hmm. It says, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent you will trample underfoot.
Because that's making, like, when you see biblically, like an adder is a snake. Like, that's why I use a serpent in his latter clause right there. Like, you're trampling over them. Now, when you see biblically, a snake and a lion are sometimes used as like your enemies. Like, it's a figure of your enemies, right? So this is kind of like what David was talking about when he asked for salvation from his enemies. This is the same thing with people who have faith, because your enemies could be your own people. Your enemies could be plots against you, people who have plots against you, the other nations. Your faith and your perfect love of the Most High will have it to where you're not afraid of those things specifically, and they cannot hurt you. That's what this is about. Continue.
It says, because he holds fast to me in love, I will deliver him. I will protect him because he knows my name. It says, when he calls to me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, and I will rescue him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
And my mom made me read this every night. I had no idea what I was reading either. But this is something that we should hold fast to, right? Like, every day. We not only just reading it, but you should embody this. This is what you should embody as somebody who's of the faith. Like, when we talk about being in the truth, we really mean of the faith. Like, walking in it, works, like having your works reflected and your belief system in accordance to this. This is how we should be moving, especially when we see all the wickedness is about to happen on earth. How we see World War III on the horizon. How we see all these things. Because yes, it's important to know that this is going to happen and to be wise prophets and understand these things, and apostles, right? It's important to know these things, but you need to also build yourself up in the ability to withstand these things. Christ said in Matthew chapter 24, he talks about everything that we're going to see, and we're already seeing it now, right? We got false prophets leading men astray. Some people call themselves Christ. We got freaking Judah.
Yeah,
that bug out. But it says when you endure, it says the person who endures all those things in Matthew 24:13. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. Not your Christian family members who say they're saved and sanctified. They're already saved. No, those who endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So it says in Psalms 91 again, but it says, with long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. The person who endured all the things we just read in this chapter. Like, a lot of things Christ said, they're not just new things. They're just refreshing what we've heard before in the Psalms. And that's an example of that. But I want to hit one more thing before we go to what we started off with. So 2 Peter 3:10, this is, but the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and its works will be discovered. Since all these things are to be destroyed in this way, what sort of people ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be destroyed by burning, and the elements will melt with intense heat. But according to his promise, we look for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. We're looking for that kingdom. And part of us looking for that kingdom is watching the prophecies and being what's crazy. He said what I was literally about to say, being faithful and obedient. That's what we have to do. You don't want to be a foolish virgin, right? Anybody who reads the Bible knows exactly what I'm talking about. You want to be a wise virgin, right? So, and that's Matthew 25. Is it 25? It's 25 or 22, one of those, right? The parable that Christ talked about. But, before, hold up. Where'd he go? Yeah, man. You want to say anything before we get up out of here?
I mean, I ain't got too much to say, man. Just make sure brothers and sisters is liking and sharing our videos from the Masada and Just Run, because we do a lot of things together. And just make sure you pay your tithes and donate. So hopefully, if we can continue to do the work and the Lord ain't came back here, we can hit your city, go preach the word, and give y'all some more spiritual food to eat.
That I can really say the same thing, man. You know,
Yeah,
like the video on both, like because we simulcasting, so like it here and then like it there, like that helps us in the algorithm, which really ultimately helps you. Matthew 24, the next verse out there says, "Those who endure to the end, the same shall be saved." The next verse literally says, "When His gospel is sent out to all the world, all the nations, then shall the end come." You sending that like helps us in the algorithm to hopefully make that happen.
That's right.
So whether or not you want to financially support us, that helps us too. That helps you specifically.
Yeah.
Right. Help us help you. Right. Also, we got the I said earlier, we have the Rebellion WhatsApp chat. If you want to be a part of that, we have class, we have the fellowship, we got the gaming chats, we got the study hall where I teach my present. I make literal presentations like I did on Revelation 12. That's on the channel. The last live I just did. That's part of like the Masada Rebellion membership thing we got going on. Like that's what we do in there. So if you want to be a part of that, hit that, man. You know. And with that, I'm gonna say call hello Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai and Shalom.
Shalom.